Let me refresh this. Check one, check two. And we are live. Yes. In space, there is no up. Let that sink in. Today we are going to talk a little bit about what is up. Because a lot of times when I talk about space, people say, but why, BigBear? Why would they go through with, it would be more expensive to fake the moon landing than to put a person on the moon. Oh, by the way, I think Sing Along Bear, it was Sing Along Bear who made a great new boomer, making fun of baby boomer song. We're going to play that in a second. People, the powers that be want people to not know where up is. And this truth transcends. Like, the boxer, I'm not gonna call it. Anyway, so, I always like to leave people out of stuff whenever people endorse me. Like when people, because it's just, all right. Anyway, in space, there is no up. Why does that matter? Guys, this is going to blow your mind. In space, there is no up. Reread the Bible. As someone who was raised Catholic and most of my Christian upbringing was based on C.S. Lewis and all the songs we sang in Mass. There's something to that. I was talking to my mom about that. A lot of my Christianity re-kicked in based on early childhood memories of because it dawned on me that I know all the Christmas hymns. I'm like, how do I know that? Because Catholic school or Sunday school and Mass, we didn't really read much of the Bible. But all the music was kicking in, right? So when you start reading the Bible and, Revelations and stuff and how so much of it requires the concept of up. Like up, down. In this world, there is no up. Okay. So what do you see when you look up? This is from Legionnaire Bear. Origins of this quote-unquote swastika. Before you spiral, just look at everybody who's used this same image. Ready? It's Christian, Islamic, Hopi, Indian, Bali, I don't know what that word is, Jewish, Jain, Celt, Greek, Tibet, Japan, Aztec, Hindu, Ceylon, Malta, China. Yeah. So when you look at the North Star Polaris, which is a star in the sky that does not move, the swastika is the pattern of Ursa Major, which means big bear. Guys, I was not aware of this stuff. Trust me, this hit me like a ton of bricks today too. The pattern Ursa Major, the Big Dipper, makes seasonally around Polaris. Look, those are the 4 seasons. Okay, so every year, that's what's made in the sky. And every human being from every single major tribe, when they look up, they see that. This symbol has been tarnished by disinformation to distract the truth behind the symbol. We live on a flat plane. Okay, now that you realize that so much programming around Nazis, don't get me wrong, anybody with bombs and tanks and stuff has been funded by someone. I'm not a fan of Adolfo Hitlerio and Mean Mr. Mustache, but is he any worse than Churchill or FDR? Clearly not. So when you realize the whole narrative about but he was racist, just stop. That's not working anymore. Wanting to protect your children and not watch pornography is not racism. That doesn't even mean anything. So when you understand that, you start thinking, so why is that such a hate symbol? And then you realize the people, like when I showed you guys this, hang on, this, it's not Jews. It's a very small group of gatekeepers of knowledge. It says, White Power 1488 has joined the chat. Hello, fellow whites. Oh. A lot of them wear small hats and they claim to be Jews. It really is like a group of people who say they're Jews. They're keeping everyone from knowing stuff about their basic origin story. When you look up, you see a gravy ladle named BigBear. That's insane. Check your weight at high and low altitude. Gravy. Yeah, I know. And I've nothing, this is just hilarious to me. You need to be a regular on Crowder. You want to get Crowder? Crowder's a closet sodomite who won't get his wife pregnant and lies for money. The Pharisees, exactly. Like I had to come, like on my own, reject hatred of Jews because it's biblical to not carry active hate, to see some of this stuff. And I now see some of this stuff. It's wild, man. So the Big Dipper is named Big Bear. Guys, my nickname Big Bear came from just people always calling me Big Bear. It's weird. It's like the Impractical Joker guy. They always be like, Big Bear, Big Bear. Everyone just has always called me Big Bear. I'm a giant dude, and according to my feet, I look like a bear. Bear in mind, there's nothing special about me at all, but this was weird. I was like, what in the gravy? And then, listen, my theory is time isn't linear. I know that sounds trippy, and I'm not quite ready to describe it, but I want to show you something else. Ty made this today. Point south needle. When the Chinese first invented the compass, they named it point south needle and used a ladle. Ancient China was using a ladle. Why a ladle? Because it's been up there the whole time. It's a ladle. And our joke is gravy. It doesn't have to do with, like, gravy's just funny to me, but like, that's why that symbol is taken off everywhere. Because when you see it, you're like, whoa. And so how do they get you from not looking up? In space, there's no up. So when Jesus returns on the clouds in Revelation and everyone sees him, what, does Australia not see him? Sorry, Australia. Like, in space, there's no up. You know, the heavens above where? Australia, the heavens are below. It's all relative, according to Albert Einstein, who copulated with his first cousin and lied constantly for money. So, is there gravy happening? BB, how'd you name Ursa Manor? Someone else did. Someone else called me Big Bear. Hitler was in Antarctica for the ladle supply. Yeah, I know. Synagogue is saying yes. No up unless you're on a sphere. What does that mean? I'm drowning in gravy here. I need to upgrade my ladle for this gravy. It's wild, dude. It's wild. Like, the craziest things for me is when you see something that's been so demonized. Someone sent me this about, this is me and the Zoomers. Hang on. This is pretty funny. Here's me and the Zoomers teaching them about media shaming or media fear. As you can see, it's for those just listening, it's a bear and his bear cub. And on the wall is a giant bear and like a dude with a spear. The gravy is flowing. It's flowing. There is no gravy in space. I know. Ursa Manor, bear home. That's all. I know exactly. It's bear home. Ursa Manor. Hand-drawn bear told me about this South Point needle and it blew my mind. I didn't believe it. Oh, dude, that's what's getting so fun about life. Is the truth is static. It's another inversion to say, oh, it's the movement. You're not part of the movement. The truth doesn't move. It never goes away. It's always here. So like when people are like, be a part of a movement, to where? It's the same with progressive. I'm a progressive. Progressing to where? Like progress to what? It's not about revolution. Revolution means going around in a circle. It's extremely stupid. A revolving door. Think about what a revolving door is, right? It's not revolution, it's revelation. Revelation is to reveal. Revolution is to go around in a circle. I used to do a bit. I actually have never even told it on stage. Man, not allowed in comedy clubs for obvious reasons. I tried being a Freemason. And I got really high level. I became a 360-degree Freemason, and then I just ended up in the same place I started. It's all been a horrible waste of time. A 360-degree Mason is just a circle. The truth, it's fine. Truth movement is fine. Truth movement bear, you're fine. We get what you're saying. The movement can be towards revelation. Like, you're not saying something that's evil. It's just... it's just like movement isn't, I don't know how to explain it, but a revolution is the pattern of going in a circle. Revelation is seeing something. It's looking up. Looking up is very important. And one of the reasons I've come to a lot of these conclusions is because I'm always outside in my life now. I wrote an email to my mom and brother today about this, where, because we're going to start calling Santa Claus, because I've been wrestling a lot about this now that we have kids. We're going to celebrate St. Nicholas. You know, St. Nick was a kind man, and he wanted to spread joy and give presents. And now we all, in honor of St. Nick, we do that. I think that's a great way to celebrate Christmas and let my children have Christmas, but not, I just find Santa very disturbing. But so my mom was telling me about St. Nick today. She was emailing me about St. Nick, and I was like, you know, and now I'm starting to really understand why people focus so much on the solstices and the equinoxes and stuff. It's not satanic. It's not. You know, you can balance your Christianity very well with things that were once, that can be called pagan, but all pagan meant is farmer. Where the sun is every day directly affects my life now to a ridiculous degree. Like, I have to milk the goats in pitch black every morning and every evening. I'm in complete darkness. Like, where I live in the Pacific Northwest, coupled with the, like, how far north it is, coupled with how big the trees are, we get 7 hours of sunlight a day. That matters. So when people are like, don't think about the solstices, that's for witchcraft. It's like, no, motherfucker, I want to know when the light starts coming back. It's that simple. Right now it's December something. It's like, I want to know at what day will the light start coming back so I don't have to go outside with a lantern every day to milk 5 goats, one of which is pregnant. It's Satanism. No, it isn't. That isn't Satanism. That isn't Luciferianism. Luciferianism is the inversion of God. It's saying yes is no and up is down. Want to see what I believe Luciferianism to be? And people are going to get mad. That. I think saying that the earth is a spinning ball in infinite darkness is what I believe to be an inversion. There's no up in that world. You're in chaos. What I consider hell is chaos. It's without God, without logos, without reason, without fact, without truth, without the way. Jesus Christ showed us the way. What he said was true. And so from there, you build. That world where it seems like every month they're coming up with a new way to literally and figuratively spin their lies and say, we didn't, of course we didn't go to the moon in Apollo 11. Apollo 11, heliocentric worship, helio worship, Apollo 11. It's like, but we did go to the moon. It's just off the books. It's all, where's your proof? I'll show you proof that there's no curve in the earth. It's 8 inches per mile squared. You want to see a lighthouse work? You know, one guy took 40 lighthouses and proved that all 40 couldn't operate. This is in the 1800s. On the Farmer's Almanac is based and Christian. Exactly. There is nothing anti-Christian about what some people call paganism. Understanding what herbs heal, you're going to want to know this stuff when the Rothschild-run pharmaceutical companies start falling under their own weight of lies. What herbs heal, when to plant, like how to use the moon as a clock. This is not evil, guys. The evil is sacrificing a chicken for Moloch or some shit. Like, of course. Blood sacrifice, all evil. Worshipping false gods, evil. I don't worship the moon because I look at it and wonder what time it is. I don't worship the sun because I want to know when it starts coming back. Worship only God the Father of Jesus Christ. That's where you put, and that is truth. And God, want to know where he is? Up. Guess you can't find up. Gravy train, thank you. It's pure gravy. Saturn rocket, Saturn, Satan, exactly. Satan ascending to the moon, right. And Werner von Braun wanted to rub it in everyone's face, so the only thing written on his tombstone is Psalm 19:1. You know, God's handiwork, the heavens above in the firmament. And you have to get to the point, like, because I've realized that a lot of these great catastrophes and death, it really does require just so many people to not allow themselves to see anything. God is good. God is the good. It is what good is. The heavens above. So is Australia the heavens down? Oh, no, but it's all relative. Don't take the Bible literally. I'm dying to hear some of these Christian fundamentalists tell me again to not take the Bible literally. The heavens above. How do you, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy kingdom come? Like, how do you not take that literally? Do you just hunt and peck? Do you just pick and choose? You can move towards truth since it doesn't move, but you can actively work to find it. This is about Truth Movement Bear. So Truth Movement Bear, don't spiral. Your name is fine. But you're not trying to change everything. You're trying to get to a better place instead of moving places. Perfect. If you are the one moving towards truth, movement is a valid word. But the movement has to be towards the static. You know, infinite movement is the heliocentric nonsensical model of the universe. That there was an explosion that happened 14 billion years ago. That they keep changing the amount of time, by the way, for no reason. And everything came from nothing or something very small. That's a direct quote. Everything came from nothing or at least something very small. And out of that came chaos. This is Satan. This is Satanism. So chaos exploded and everything is random. And you're nothing more than the result of bacteria fucking randomly. And then mutation, which is random. That's the heliocentric model. You can't separate evolution from heliocentrism, from the ball. It's the same thing, but all. God can create, the ball and breathe life separately. We shouldn't try and limit his power. Hey, Ninja Bear, you're in a timeout. Timeout. Timeout for Ninja Bear. Listen, we shouldn't try to limit God's power. So when they say heaven's above and God's above and Jesus comes from above and everything's above, why not say that God could create a ball and also make everything of his words relative? You know, we get all of that science from people who actively hate God. But what if God made everyone hate him choose the ball? Stop. It's like God could have made the ball spin an infinite black, and then God made everybody who hated him push it on people when they're children and make none of the logic line up at all. And then God makes it so you hunt and peck through the Bible and figure out what up and down means and how it's relative. And then God will send a guy named Albert Einstein who's like a midget with a little hat who married his cousin and had weird, and he fucked all these women while he was married. And then he's going to tell everybody that it's relative, that the whole world is relative and not literal. And then he's going to make like millions of dollars on his lies. And then they're going to put his picture on the walls of all these college campuses in which they can start, indentured servitude again. And children will go into infinite debt, unpayable debt that they can't file bankruptcy over, unlike a yacht and gold. And so then these our entire youth will be forced to work menial jobs to pay off their debt forever with the pictures of Einstein on their wall and all the empty vacuous space. And when you think about how God is really everywhere and nowhere and everything's subjective and everything's spinning into oblivion, then you can really act like an animal because nothing matters at all. And then you can give all your money to just a small group of people with really small hats. And why limit God's power? Why limit God's power? If you talk like that again, you're banned for life. How's that sound? Why would we limit God's power from just endless deception on us? If God wasn't good and true and our Father, why wouldn't he just lie to us endlessly and make us confused and be on a bunch of pills and opioids and fight endless war for no reason in infinite debt and darkness? Why wouldn't he do that? Because you're limiting God's power, because if he is truly omnipotent and he would just do that, because why wouldn't he? Let me give you a little insight into your own mind, Ninja Bear. Your dad was bad. A lot of our dads were bad. God isn't bad. You got to let it go. And you can still believe in the ball earth and be here and hang out and all that. That's fine. I respect people that have their abilities. Do not try and manipulate me. Don't even bring it up with me. How's that sound? And then we'll be fine. I don't care. It's not that big of a deal, but don't ankle bite me. Like, for example, like, it's not that big of a deal. I see the sun differently than you do. I see the earth differently than you do. Don't come in here and try and use your weird rhetorical skills. I don't care. The ladle in the sky, guys, like every group of people has seen this thing. Look at this. I mean, don't limit God's power. Why wouldn't he just make infinite darkness? That's what God does, right? No, that's what a certain rebel did. His name was Lucifer, son of the morning. I'm gonna chase you out of earth. Lucifer, Lucifer, son of the morning. Look at all those civilizations that saw that. That's where the swastika came from. And it's not to do with Germans and all that. That's all bullshit. I'm not a fan of Mean Mr. Mustache, guys. It's all a shame tactic. That symbol is also a Christian symbol. It's like that's the 4 seasons in the sky. There's one star that never moves that the entire earth can see. How does that happen on a ball? It doesn't. And everything else rotates around that one immovable star. Yeah, but it's so far away that it's all relative. Stop. This isn't for you. There's a million places you can go. There's literally a million YouTube channels where you can go listen to people endlessly lie if you want. You won't get that here. Oh, it's because it's 100 million light years away, but yet light is a wave and a photon. It's a particle and a wave. That's how we got around the vacuum of space lie. Because we all know a wave requires a medium. It's kind of like an ocean requires water to have waves. That's how energy is transferred over water. So when people obviously pointed out that light waves, like the color green and the color red, which all have a specific frequency, couldn't possibly transfer in a vacuum, we came up with a lie called particle theory. So light is a particle and a wave at the same time, and that way something can travel 100 million light years and end up in your eyeball and transfer energy because it's like a BB and it's also an ocean wave. Ha ha, I got you. Ha ha, ha ha. No, you didn't get me. That's fucking stupid. That light is a particle and a wave? What? So a wave on the water. So you can say like a wave on the water, but see, light functions differently. Unlike all other energy, like sound requires a medium. Right? Sound travels a different speed in water than it does air. It has to do with how dense the particles are together, right? So it isn't an object. It isn't material. It's energy. Light is energy. There's different wavelengths, frequencies to infrared or ultraviolet or gamma radiation or the visual light spectrum. And so because that can't happen in a vacuum, by definition, because a vacuum, by definition, has no medium to transfer energy. Particles can't bump into each other and transfer energy in a vacuum, right? So what happened? The liars, like Ninja Bears heroes, said, well, guess what? It's a wave and a particle. Okay, so if something's 100 million light years away, that's the distance light travels in a year. That's an incomprehensible distance. So it shoots out a bunch of little particles like BBs, and then they go through that amount of space and hit your eyeball, and it's a wave. Ether is the medium. I believe ether is the medium as well, and I think it operates somewhat like water. But these people don't believe in ether. They don't believe there is a medium in space. They think it's empty. It's just like, how do you think these things? You have to accept lies. Like once you hear it, how do you just go, yeah, but I'm still going to believe it though? You're going to believe that light is a wave and a particle. Yeah, you don't know the math. No, I do though. Like I'm deceptively intelligent. Some people will look at me and they look at how my socks are messed up and they look at how I speak and they look at how I like comedy and gravy and high-fiving and they don't realize how ridiculously intelligent I am. No, I know what your math tries to accomplish, and it doesn't work on me. Vibration particles. Yeah, that doesn't mean it. Vibration particles. It's like the wave of an ocean, and it's also a BB. Well, that's not what I mean by particle. I don't mean it's a particle. I don't mean that it has any matter at all. It's just a wave. So then how does it go through vacuum? It's a particle. It has material. It's a religion and a race. Sound familiar? It's a shell game. Being a Jew is a religion. You can't put us in a category. Okay, so all these atheist Jews are not Jews then. Oh no, it's the seeds of Sarah. You know, we all trace our lineage back to 4 women. It's all genetic. You can test it at 23andMe. It's run by the woman who's married to Sergey Brin, the CEO of Google, and her sister is the head of YouTube. You can see how Jewish you are. I thought it was a religion. No, it's a race. Okay, Jews are a race. No, it's a religion. It's a belief system. It's an ancient religion based. Stop. It's the same shell game as wave theory, as particle theory. It's just like, the light is a wave when we want it to be a wave, and then it's a particle to explain our lies. But why would they lie? I'll show you why they lie. Because in space, there is no up. Do you understand the Bible isn't very applicable to your life at all unless you understand the concept of up? But I mean, if it isn't, look at my proof. I don't care. You go do that. Get. If you want to go get 8,000 people to watch you at a random day at 10:30 a.m. and you can explain to them that it's a ball of nonsense spinning in infinite black, go ahead. There's a reason I'm so outlawed. Am I showing my titties or am I starting violence? No, you're never going to see my titties. And I think violence is the act of a desperate man. So what is it about me that keeps I'm kicked off PayPal and Facebook and Twitter and Patreon? Maybe it's because I'm saying what is actually true. And if I'm wrong, I correct it. And I don't commit to lies for money. Steven Crowder, Alex Jones. Hang on. View whole chapter. See verse in context. It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof. The circle. The earth is a circle. Maybe. I don't know. I can't prove that. Circle, not ball. Dum-dum. You do it again, you're banned. If you think a circle is a ball, you're stupid. You're a stupid person. How does he sit above a ball? How does God sit above a ball? So if you're in the southern hemisphere, God is below you. No, but according to... That's what it sounds to me. It doesn't say sphere, it says circle. Yeah, I know. I'm aware of that. Nothing is up on a sphere. It's the fundamental basis of up. If you have a basketball and you say, and it's like there's no up. There is no argument here. You're going to go through phases of grief. It's your business, not mine. Like, literally, don't bring this to me. And if you want to start being like, well, follow my page, and you can, don't bring it here or I'll ban you. If you want to ankle bite me because you're going through grief, guys, there's no up on a ball. There's no up. In Australia, up is down. You understand that, right? So when someone says up, it doesn't mean anything on a ball. Argue that point or leave. And I mean that because what you're pushing is nihilism. You're pushing a way where you can't interpret up. Not all circles are spheres. It doesn't matter. It's guys, it's translated from Aramaic. Do you know how complex of a language Aramaic was? It's one of the most complex languages in the world. Owen is spiraling. You're banned for life. No man can determine what Earth is. It is greatly interesting and it is always great to expand my knowledge. Exactly. That's why I hesitate to say I'm a flat earther. Because I just got out of a really bad relationship with a globe. So I'm very hesitant into saying what Earth is. I know what it is not. And so, yeah, I'm not technically a flat earther, I guess, because that's a statement of a thing that I can't analyze. But I do know what it is not, and I am 100% certain that it is not a spinning ball in an infinite black. And if you want to push your nonsense here, you can go somewhere else. And I mean that. There's some bears that you have to really take me seriously on this. Some folks like games more than others. I'm with you. Games are not my thing. Yeah, it's same with me. It's fine. But I have no problem with gamers. I have no problem with people who love games. Vox Day and me do unauthorized.tv. Like, I talk to him every day. It's like, I love the guy. He's great. He's a game designer. He loves games. He does like war games, all this stuff. I don't care about games. I'm sure he doesn't care about how I view the earth. It's fine. These are very good skills to learn with friendship and with teamwork and just group dynamics. You don't have to care what other people care about, and you can think differently about the world and not let it affect your friendship. What affects friendship and what affects groups is when you know someone's a liar. When you know someone's like, I know the truth and I'm not, and I'm going to say the opposite because I like fancy pants and I like lollipops for my fucking mouth and my ass. That's the problem. I don't have a problem with what you believe as long as you can make an argument. I've listened endlessly to people try and tell me how light is a particle and a wave. It's obvious wizardry. Everyone knows it. It isn't a real thing. Even high-level nuclear physicists that I know, it's like a known secret that particle theory is retarded. And I won't be on board that. If you want to, fine. I won't.